Hello, and thank you for joining us today in our pre-show. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. I have a few items I want to discuss with you. And first one would be two very special young ladies that I've had the privilege of knowing for a short time, Loria Petrucci and Kat Mulvihill. Visit their YouTube channels. You'll be very, very surprised. And moving on, questions and comments, the usual. You use the chat box or the question box. And yes, you'll be able to get the slides at the end. There'll be a link, as always. Those of you that are new here, there's always a link for the slides at the end. Want to make sure you stay around the whole time. Kind of, sort of. Anyway. If you're interested, you can book a 15-minute, no obligation consultation with me to decide if a government contract is right for you. And if you already have a contract, let's see if we can find a way to keep your revenue above
$1 million.
That would be nice. Anyway, you can visit our website anytime at MarketUS.com. We hope you find this presentation coming up to be entertaining, profitable, productive, and see you on the inside.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Welcome to Ding Dong, the Duns is Dead. Unbelievable. Do you know what happened last Monday at 9 a.m.? Probably by now you do, because I waited a week to finally get the final information to be able to get the correct information and be able to put something together. And I have a ton of notes, so forgive me for looking down to see where I am. I have some good news and I have some great news. The good news is last Monday they went live. Even better, it wasn't at 9 a.m. They were actually early. I thought I'd try an hour early, so they were already done, so I have no idea what time they went. But the nice part is that the ever-famous Duns is finally dead. Isn't that great? I know I'm happy, but anyway. If you've never been here before and you don't know me, my name is Michael Price, and I've been helping companies for the last, my goodness, August will be 36 years. Well, let's just say over 3 decades. See what happens. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun. And originally I started out helping individual companies, and then I decided a few years ago to start a YouTube channel to try to come up with bits and pieces to help you understand and learn more and hopefully be more productive and successful. So the biggest problem is the government keeps changing the rules of the game. They don't tell me. They don't tell you. I find out because I'm up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock every morning trying to find what's new and different today to affect your life and my life. And when I find it, I put it out. So that's going to continue. Anyway, let's talk about today's agenda. We also already know that all of the systems at GSA are functional. Everything. Some of these acronyms I can't even pronounce. And I lived in DC for 33 years, so I should know all the acronyms, but I don't. But the important thing is you only have one number to memorize now, the UEI, because ding dong, the Duns is dead. So let's get started. We know that all systems are functional. Are you registered in SAM? Duh. How'd you get here? You're registered in SAM. We only communicate with the people that are registered in SAM. There's a reason. You're registered in SAM because you want to do business with the government. And one of the things I've learned with dealing with the government is
another rule of business. is being able to adapt to different situations. Yeah? Adapt, react, readapt, apt. Right? That's rule number 2.
We know what rule number 1 is. Register in SAM. You're in SAM, that's all that matters. The good news is, if you're already registered, you already have a UEI. Can I hear an amen? I know it's been confusing, and people are saying, well, what's going on? What is this? What is that? I get questions. I get 10, 15, 20 emails a day asking the question about, what do I do? So I finally said, let's do a webinar. So anyway, if you're new to SAM, you're going to have a lot of fun. You'll be registering, but the good news is you'll never touch your DUNS number. You'll get a UEI based on how you're registered with your state, local government, federal, or whatever. So let's take a look at a snapshot of what's coming up, or what actually now happened on April 4th, a month ago. No, a month ago? No, it hasn't been a month yet. A week ago, that's it. It's what trouble when you get old. I just don't understand what the heck's going on. Your DUNS number's been removed, so if you don't know what it is, doesn't matter anymore. That's the beauty of it. The only thing you're going to use is the unique ID, which is what SAM generates. So from there, here's where some of the caveats come in that we need to discuss. Your DUNS number was in searches, it was in views, it was in extracts. That's all gone. You're going to have to rebuild those with your UEI. And I haven't looked inside to see, well, if I'm searching for audiovisual equipment and I used to use my DUNS to do it, will I still see it without the DUNS and I have to put a UEI in, or do I have to recreate it? And I'll find out more about that. We'll do a follow-up coming down the road. All updates, everything is done in SAM now, as opposed to I got to go to SAM, I do my register, it goes to the IRS to verify my tax ID, then I have to go to Dun & Bradstreet to verify my DUNS, then it comes back to SAM, SAM approves it, 24 to 48 hours later, my new record's up. What happens if I'm in the middle of getting a contract award or an order or something like that, where if it's not active, I can't get paid? Technically, I can't do business with the government unless you're active. Remember that. You must be active. Well, here's how it's going to happen, and we're going to go through some screenshots, and I'm going to try something new today. I learned it from a friend of mine, but he is so much better at it than I am, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, you're going to go through and you're going to create an incident. Why is it an incident? Nothing's wrong yet. I don't know. It's the government. You'll automatically be assigned a UEI at registration. This is if you're new. And here's what you can do. You log into your SAM.gov workplace. I didn't know a workplace existed. I go in all the time, and I finally found a workplace. Well, you know, if you hate work as much as I do, that's why you're here, because this is fun and entertaining. And you get to see somebody that's not going to sit there, well, now we're going to go to slide number 342. It's not going to happen, okay? I have no filter. Please forgive me. You're going to verify your identity. Well, how do I do that? You're looking at me. You know who I am. There's my ID. There's my other ID. Here's my passport. IDs everywhere. All kinds of good stuff. The good news is your CAGE code is not effective. Does anybody know what CAGE stands for? Let me know in the comments. What does CAGE stand for? I'll come back and tell you later on. What about your APIs and your extracts? You know what API stands for? Comments. We know what the extracts are. We use APIs all the time. I'm not going to tell you yet. I'm going to make you look for it. No fair Googling. What about your searches? I have hundreds of searches. A partner company of ours, Eileen Kent, will actually teach you as part of her 3-step program how to do ad hoc searches. That quick. We'll talk about that later on. What about the contract data? Anybody ever tried to use schedule sales query? I don't know what to tell you. It bothers me, and I have a database background. But what if your entity is not registered? Maybe now's the time. Let's go through some screenshots. Actual screenshots taken from GSA. Let me get my arrow together here. Here's where you're going to go first. Is that a cool thing? Anybody wants to know how to use that? Drop a comment and I'll tell you how to do it later. Anyway, that's where you're going to start, right there. And the other thing is, you see this a lot lately. How do you know if you're on a government website? I'm afraid to click it. The guys in the black van may show up outside, knock on the door and say, "You verified you're on a government website. What are we going to do?" I don't know. Who cares? Bottom line is, that's where you start. All right. From there, if I clear my stuff out, I get to the next slide. There we are. I'm back into the pen again. It's a little, I wanted to make sure that our colors matched, you know. It's that kind of type of environment now that you have to match. You can't just, it was purple, but it just didn't look good. So anyway, that's where you get started. After you sign in, you'll go to your entity management. Yeah. And then you'll select the get started icon. Yep. I got you. I hear you. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Now we're started. Right there. We're going to register our entity. And we're going to get a unique ID. Pretty cool. Almost makes me want to do it just to see what it looks like. Maybe I'll have one of you come on as a guest, and we'll go through all this, and we'll kind of give you a shout out as to who you are and maybe work some kind of a deal with you where you can team with some of these other folks that are involved with us. Anyway, you get the unique ID button, and then from there, here we are. You enter your unique ID information right there. You verify your physical address, and you may need to provide some additional information. So don't be surprised if they drop that one on you. And here we are. Here's what you entered. And I purposely am not showing you what the match was. Obviously, they have already kind of knocked this out. From there, you're going to request your UEI. And from there, you're going to get your UEI. God, don't you like all this arrows all over the screen so you can see exactly what the heck you're supposed to be reading? Something new to me. It's my first time using it, actually. So I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to warn you right now. It's going to happen. All this will be validated by SAM. So that's why we're here, is to get validated. Once they validate all the information, we're right back where we started again. This was the selected identity. If you notice, it changed from the previous one. This is what your real, truthful identity is, if you happen to be in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Thank you, DLA. And then, when all is said and done, You requested it. You're going to receive it now. There's your request. All blocked out, of course. And we're moving on. You may have to, let me see what the notes say here. Oh yeah. In order to receive your UEI, you have to swear on the Bible under penalty of law and, da-da-da-da-da, and whatever, that you're telling them the truth. So there we are there. Am I going too fast? Let me know in the comments. I tend to get worked up and going. Are you a prime or are you a sub? It reminds me of when I was growing up, Popeye. Are you a thee or a thou? What are you, a thee or a thou? Are you a prime or are you a sub? If you're a prime, you're conducting transactions. If you're a sub, you have to flow back up to the prime. Now, any of you who've seen any of our videos know that I don't like subcontracting, because ultimately the sub ends up coming to us or one of our competitors to get a GSA contract, and guess what happens? They're stuck with their subcontract rates or subcontract prices. They don't realize that going in. Buyer beware. Try to avoid subcontracting if you can. Short conclusion, then we're going to get into some other stuff, and I'll leave the chats open after we're finished. We've only got about 322 more slides, so take a short nap if you like. It's a lot of information, but Sam, thank goodness, has finally found a way to make it easier for you to update your information. You gotta love it. So, from that aspect, let's move on to, okay, I got my UEI, I've done all this other information, I'm worn out, I had to go take a nap, cup of coffee, I'm back. What do I do with it? Well, you can avoid the pain. Do you have a contract vehicle now? Of course, I hit the wrong button. Do you have a contract vehicle? Which one? If not, why? Tell me in the comments, why do you not have a contract vehicle? But you're not going to like the rest of these bullets, I can guarantee you that. You need a contract vehicle. No, I don't. The buyer told me they could buy from me without a contract. Correct. You've now received 14 orders, and the auditor came in and said, Billy Bob, no more. Tell your vendor he's got to get a contract. Why? It violates the Competition and Contracting Act. Yes, you can do micro purchases, no problem at all. I had a friend of mine many, many years ago that lived on micro purchases. She made $1.2 million in revenue one year. But eventually it caught up to her, because once the buyer realizes that they can keep hitting it, eventually the auditors come in, and it's not a matter you did something wrong. Well, she did, but that's beside the point. It's a matter of she did something wrong because she continued to give you or me orders violating the Competition and Contracting Act. SICA says you must combine those requirements into a bigger order. Well, you know where we're going with this because you all have been here before. You've seen me preach, you've heard me preach, and you've seen the end result. Well, I only got one word to say to you, Dell. Okay, let me give you another one. Berkshire Hathaway. Look at the bottom left of our website. If you don't recognize anybody, you're new to the planet. Do you accept credit cards? You're registered with SAM. Do you accept credit cards? You don't? Why not? It's required. This is the funny thing about, what's it called? The fine print. Here's a scenario. You have an order. You're registered, you have an order. You ship the order or perform the service or whatever it happens to be. Product, services, pretty much the same thing. It's an order. You're done. Government can't pay you. Why? You don't accept credit cards under the threshold limit, which is $25,000. That's at a minimum. You can see videos that we have with charge.com, the go-to that we tell all of our government contractors to go to. You can get the link on the bottom right of our website. Takes you right there, quick and dirty application. You're done in no time at all. They are government contractor friendly. You are required to have credit card acceptance in order to get paid. That payment will just sit there and sit there and sit there. But wait, if I had a contract and if I accept credit cards, don't I normally get paid before I even accept the order or during accepting the order? Yes. So let's look at it this way. If you take the time to go get credit card merchant account, you're going to get paid before you even perform, ship, or conduct any business. So your cash flow increases. Just a guess, I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things. Moving on, do you have a website? This one's going to be funny. Buckle your seatbelts, because here we come. No, I don't have a website. Why not? The government checks. It's not required, but every GSA contract I have ever negotiated in 35 plus years, this was after Al Gore invented the internet in 1995, no political pun intended, I was sitting there when he said it. It's a fact. Ever since 95, the first thing the government buyer or contracting officer asks for is, what's your web address? They want to see who you are. It's really a means of advertising and marketing, okay? I end up talking to a guy, Jim Bob, you got a website? Nope. Well, you don't. He said, well, we're working on it. Well, how long have you been working on it? About 3 months. Here's a true fact. I'm not a programmer. I'm not a coder. I'm not a designer. I'm an idea guy. I see things. That was a good movie, by the way. I see things. I, with my limited knowledge, could create a website for you in under 10 minutes with basic information that you give me, and it's functional. Now it's up to you to increase it. Do you operate a word processor? If you can operate a word processor, you can improve a website. I did it myself. MarketUS.com, GSAdoc.com. I did them myself in a weekend. They need to be redone. They're old, they're ugly. I think they're out of date, but you tell me. Bottom line is, you need to have these items, especially credit cards, without a doubt. Let me get the next slide going here. Here's the 15-minute no obligation consultation I talked about in the pre-show. By the way, let me know in the comments below what you thought of the pre-show. We're kind of trying a bunch of different things, and we had a couple of them last week and a half ago and tried a couple different things there, but we're trying to make it more enjoyable and try to keep it short enough to unload as much information as we possibly can. Book a 15-minute call, consultation, whatever you want to call it. And I should probably, let me put the link in the chat so that way, last time we did this, I had like 3 or 4 people that quick. I spent half a day, 15 minutes didn't work. We went 30, one guy, an hour talking to him. I loved it. I don't mind going over. Unless I get back-to-backs, then I gotta kind of dance. So that's beside the point. Anyway, you want the slides? I know you want the slides. There's the link. You can either click on the link or I'll drop it in the group chat and you can see what's happening from there. But anyway, that's all I have for right now. This was a short one, a sweet one, and it was basically very informative from what I did on research. There was so much more, the blah, 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 blah. I didn't want you to have to go through that. It's in the slides. You can do with it what you want. So appreciate you being here. And we will definitely see you in the next webinar. Thank you for joining.